You know, there's not much I disagree with the president on, but his national address today, earlier this morning or whatever it was, I don't agree with it at all. I don't agree. And obviously the part I don't, obviously the part we were talking about, condemning and there's no place for these type of violence, act of violence. I completely agree with. But what I'm talking about are the key points in his message that he made today. That I don't really understand why he said this or where he was coming from. He mentioned these maniacs, these mass shooters, are somehow influenced from video games. And I heard him say this, and I'm like, Mr. President, what are you talking about? Video games? And it's funny, like every time there's a scenario in our country where, a lot of people lose their lives unwillingly, we want to blame video games. I remember they did this back in the day with Grand Theft Auto. For those of you who are familiar with the Grand Theft Auto franchise, I believe it was San Andreas. We were talking about banning that game, or if it was Resident Evil or Mortal Kombat. Me personally, I play all these games, man, or at least at some point. I'm not running around here trying to, commit fatalities or brutalities or rob people, just for the sake of doing it. No. How can anyone solely place blame? I can't speak today. How can anyone solely place blame on video games? It's beyond me. And to hear the president say that today, I was kind of disappointed, to be honest with you guys, man. I do not agree with him on that. You know what I'm saying? If that's the route you guys want to take, then we have to look at things like, especially in the hip hop community, the music these people make. You know what I'm saying? You don't think that's, an avenue that people need to look at? You don't think some of these movies and theaters that come out that people need to look at? Like, I don't see how you can talk about video games and then let's completely ignore a film like John Wick, or anything of any sort of type of, gory film like that. Just blood, how? It's so disingenuous. It's not. And honestly, I think he's just reacting to. I guess he feels he needs to do something about the situation. I don't genuinely believe he believes this. All of this is coming from video games. I don't think he believes that at all. I think it's honestly a knee-jerk reaction, But as the president, you can't make those kind of decisions. You have to be, on your P's and Q's. And then he mentioned how he wanted the DOJ, the Department of Justice, to team up with certain social media giants to tackle, I guess, and to weed out people who commit hate crimes online, just whatever, which is not really, it's like bully. You just log out, man. You can't really be bullied online. I've talked about this on one of my previous videos, but whatever. But I find this interesting because, Mr. President, you just held a social media summit not too long ago, talking about how these tech giants are censoring certain folks because of their views. You know what I'm saying? Not too long ago, I believe it was last year, or maybe 2 years ago, I don't know how long ago it was, Mark Zuckerberg was testifying before Congress. Just recently, Google was testifying before Congress. Now you want to team up with these same people, these same execs, who are censoring conservatives, if you will, for quote-unquote hate speech and all that kind of crap. You want to team up with these people? Come on. It doesn't work. It does not work. Again, like I said, with the president, there's very little I disagree with him on. You know what I'm saying? This is probably the first time in a while that I said, nah, the president, he's tripping a little bit. He's tripping. I think the last time he did anything that I was like totally against, I guess it was ending the government shutdown. You campaigned on border security, building the wall, and all that kind of stuff. Here's your opportunity within your power to do something, and you give up or you cave or whatever you want to call it, you know? And some people's complaints were, how can you hold certain people hostage? Some people have to feed their families, this and that and the third. And my retort would be, it's not the government's job to determine whether you eat or not for the day. It's not their job. And if you want to rely on the government to make sure you eat or you have a full belly before you go to sleep, then you're in the wrong country. You know? So yeah, man, you know, I wasn't feeling what he was saying today. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, he seemed a little shaken up a bit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was looking at it differently. You know, he didn't seem to be on his game. Normally when he's speaking, it just comes natural to him. You know, yeah. Besides that, man, you know, I don't have an issue with the president. You know, I've been a Trump fan for years, way before the whole political thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not those kind of people who switched up on him because he's a so-called so-and-so Republican. You know what I'm saying? And he's really not a Republican. He really isn't. He's a business Democrat. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't align. He doesn't relate to the AOCs of the world or the Rashida Tlaibs, and you know what I'm saying? There's quite a contrast. You know what I'm saying? I just think, Trump is no dummy. He knew he would never become the Democratic nominee because he knew the Democratic Party were already setting up a coronation for Hillary Clinton to win right after Barack Obama. So he said to himself, let me go over here with these Republicans. Most of them, you know, I guess as far as notoriety, Jeb Bush and Chris Christie, I could probably, you know, beat them out. And he did. And he went against Hillary. And, you know, he beat her, you know, but for the most part, I have no issue with his presidency. President Donald Trump, let me respect the man. President Donald Trump. I have no problem with his presidency. But this message earlier today and the ending the government shutdown, I totally disagree with, you know. So again, they're not major things, and obviously no president can be perfect. But if someone told, because I've been accused of not being unbiased towards the president, and I don't believe that. He just never done anything to me that was I would feel was, you know, not to agree with him on. You know what I'm saying? But those two things in particular, yeah, I don't agree with. And this whole notion about gun control or banning guns. Do you guys know how many guns are in America? Do you know how many? Do you know? A lot. A lot of guns, okay? This whole gun ban or what have you, you know who's going to be affected by that? Law-abiding citizens are going to be affected by that. Because you know who does, you know who's not going to adhere to this new rule or ban or this new law? There are no guns are not allowed. Criminals. You know why? Because they're criminals. They're breaking the law already. So if you put on a gun ban, what makes you think criminals are going to follow the law? So essentially what you'll be doing is disarming law-abiding citizens that are only following their constitutional right to bear arms. And the ones and they'll just be, you know, perpetual victims to criminals who will be armed. So this whole notion, this gun ban, is not a real solution, because these people that are killing these people, they would have done it anyway, gun ban or not. Gun ban or not. The Walmart shooting in El Paso, Texas would have happened had there been a gun ban. It still would have happened. Obviously, he's not a good person. You see what I'm saying? People talk about, yeah, we don't have this gun violence in shit like Canada and London and shit like that. Well, I had to argue, like, in Canada, y'all don't really have no rights like that. The government is legislating speech in Canada. You can't talk to me about rights. You can't. In London, you don't have guns, but people are finding other ways to commit crimes. They're stabbing people to death over there. So, I mean, what are we talking about? You ban guns, that's not going to end, criminal activity. It's not. They're just going to find another means to kill other people. So, the gun ban is really nonsensical. It's not going to go anywhere with it. And I would just advise citizens, you think you're living in the moment. You're a prisoner of the moment. You're thinking a gun ban would. It won't. Trust me, it won't. Like when I heard about the news, man, it happens so much in this country. I'm so desensitized to it, and I shouldn't be, because I could be a victim. I go to Walmart frequently. I could have been the person, caught up in that situation. So I understand. I can relate, but this is not a time to be emotional, because those people who lost their lives, they're not coming back. We have to be logical. We have to really sit down and have a serious conversation about this, and I listen. I don't have any solutions. I just know that banning guns is not the right solution. That I can tell you. I don't know, guys. So you guys tell me what you think, man. Am I off? Do I have a point? Let me know in the comment section. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss. About to actually go to the barbershop right now, so it's Cozy Jones, and I'm out.